Our second meeting, eve of battle. You remember, MacDonald was there.
Oh, that horse's ass.
David MacDonald, British director, won an Oscar the year before for a film he'd made about the North Africa campaign. Brilliant film called Desert Victory. John's right, he was a horse's rear end.
Well, I saw your film.
Which one?
Now, I can't remember the title. The one with the chap in it. The one who, sort of talks through his teeth. Like that sort of thing.
You mean Humphrey Bogart?
Do I? Yes, I believe I do. It's set in Morocco, Casablanca. I can't remember the title.
Casablanca.
Yes. Do you know what it's called?
No idea. I didn't direct it.
Very well.
Perhaps you're thinking of the Maltese Falcon.
No. Which one's that?
And this was the man we were meant to be in awe. The great cinematic visionary we were up against.
I think what we were up against, John, was an English sense of humour. See, to the English, all Americans are ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Good work, buddy.
I have no doubt the compliment is returned with interest.
Right on down.
I gather you're heading out to Italy.
Who told you that?
Well, Eric.
I did, actually.
Shouldn't I have? I'm thinking of heading out that way myself.
Yeah. Is that so?
It is, yes. I'm taking an army film unit, British Army, that is. We can't let you Americans have it all your own way, can we?
So this guy, MacDonald, was the reason I'd been sent to London in the first place.
On the fourth day of the battle, Kidney Ridge was assaulted by troops of the 7th Armored Division.
Desert Victory, with every American war movie in the shade. The combat footage was like nothing we'd ever seen before. The camera shook like crazy. The light flared, the celluloid bubbled, the sound was peeking off the scale, all the blemishes and imperfections, all the stuff you'd only throw on the cutting room floor. He kept it in. It made you feel like you were right there, in the middle of the action. That shot there, for example. Frank, hold it a second. Go back a ways. There, just there. GI in a bomb crater. Roll it, Frank. Now, if that's real, there's a cameraman with his back to the enemy and his ass in the air. It's gotta be fake. It's gotta be.
But how will we know? How will the audience know what's real and what's not?
Maybe they don't have to know. Maybe they just have to believe.
And the movie was popular?
Yeah, it was a smash. You have to remember, on the American side, we made a series of absolute stinkers. Box office flop after box office flop. One of which was a terrible thing I directed called Tunisian Victory.
And how did that come about?
Well, I received a call from General Harrison, head of the Signal Corps Photographic Service.
Mr. Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, yes?
The President has asked to see our film coverage of the North Africa landing.
Then why don't you show it to her, Jim?
Because there isn't any. We only assigned one unit, and the ship carrying the film was torpedoed.
That's awfully bad luck.
We were rather hoping you might be able to manufacture something for us.
Manufacture?
We have a training base in the Mojave Desert that really looks a lot like Tunisia. We can supply those ordnance, rifle, whatever you fellas might need. And you can just haul ass down there in fairly short order and fabricate some convincing-looking combat footage. It really would get us out of a hole.
So we went out to the Mojave, filmed some P-39 fighters strafing the sand. It was idiotic. And I hope to God Roosevelt never saw it. First kind of simulated combat documentary.
Is there a good kind?
I think there are shades of gray, as you know.
So you traveled to Italy?
Yes, we got a flight out to make. So, what do you know about making documentaries?
Not much. No.
I've seen one or two. You just point the camera and roll, don't you? Whatever happens, happens.
We'll work it out.
I remember we spent a lot of time talking about the Bob Fat case.
Legendary documentary. Guy who made Man of Valor, Man of the North. I knew him personally. In my opinion, the man was a genius.
Yes, except he paid people.
as if it was fake.
It's not as if it were real either. It was getting people to pretend, and the film pretended they were.
Well, sure, but I could never see what harm it did.
Well, I would say in the wrong hands a great deal of harm. In the hands of the Nazis, for example.
Sure, but we weren't the Nazis.
In America, you had Lindbergh and America First. In England, we had Mosley and the Daily Mail. I would quite so yes.
This is all about my son.
Oh, your sunglasses?
I have sunglasses.
Why are you wearing those sunglasses? Because it's dark.
Genuine air crew glasses, given to me by genuine air crew guys in the Mojave Desert.
What was it that you disliked about them, Mr. Ambler?
They disturbed me. To me, they signified the extent to which John had been seduced by the glamour of war, and they worried me.
There may be some truth in that, but aren't we all, don't you think, seduced by the glamour? Even those of us who are anti. Isn't there just a little part of us that likes it?
So, you arrived in Italy. What state was the war in?
Italians surrendered. Germans were fighting rearguard action. The U.S. Fifth Army was advancing towards taking over this big pass. Is that? It's ready. Come here. Hi, John. How was your trip? Fine. Great to see you. Eric, this is Lieutenant Jules Butler, Butler's camera operator in the United States. Sir? Jules, this is Captain Eric Andrews, best-selling author who is here to represent the British. Keep us honest. Honest how?
Well, I'd like us to agree on something, and this is serious. Whatever we shoot, it has to be authentic.
I'm fine with that.
No reenactment, no artifice, no attempt to hoodwink the audience.
Absolutely.
Because once we go down that path, there is no difference between us and the enemy. The enemy is a liar. If we lie too, we lost sight of what it is we're fighting for.
Colonel Jones, Captain John Houston reporting for you.
Captain Houston, delighted to meet you.
Thank you. May I introduce Captain Eric Ambler, our friend from the British Army.
Captain Hammer.
How do you do?
Always good to have friends in the British Army.
Jules Buck, our cameraman.
Lieutenant Buck. Well, come in, gentlemen. Take a seat. Outstanding.
Come, you're going to enjoy your
Stay with us here at Fifth Army HQ. First thing I should mention is the whole place is imminent. Physical delayed action uses the acid touch and could go off well. Just about anything. We haven't located them all yet, so I would advise caution. And Captain Hammer, I see you already. Two of you. Yes, sir. That's right. It's been a pleasure meeting you fellas.
Okay, good.
If there's anything you need, don't I will assist you in anything.
Well, sir, we're going to need cameras, film stock, some form of transportation to reach the forward areas.
Of course, but I'm afraid just now I'm a little short of transportation. I'm also short of cameras and film stock. However, as soon as any becomes available, Captain Houston, I'm sure I will let you know.
Colonel, we do appreciate the importance the War Department attaches to the job they've given us.
I do remember fighting a real war out here, Captain, as you may have noticed. Movie making is not currently among our priorities. Is there anything else?
No, sir.
Dismissed.
Sir, it was clear that if it was going to happen at all, you were going to have to make it happen.
Jules, where are those explosions coming from?
San Pietro. That's where the fighting is now, at the entrance to the Leary Valley. It's the only way through to Rome.
San Pietro?
Yeah. Pretty little town on top of a hill, like some kind of a picture book. That wasn't for the mortar bombs or machine gun emplacements.
Well, maybe that's where we should be headed. What do you think? Picture-perfect Italian town, cherry on the run, our boys moving in, civilians throwing hams at them, joyful gratitude.
That sounds suspiciously like a shooting script to me.
I just speculate.
Perhaps we should leave our preconceptions at home and allow the material to reveal itself.
I'm not sure we'll have enough film stock to do that, Rick.
Do we have any?
I'm working on
We've been sitting around for several weeks doing very little when John finally did. What did you have to tell us?
it. Colonel Gillette,
It's normal to not.
are we any closer to our plan, sir? And a camera and some film stock?
I'm afraid not, Captain. Perhaps when things quiet down.
I'm not sure we can wait that long, sir.
Well, that'll be all, Captain.
No, sir, it won't. Colonel Gillette, do you realize that I don't have to be here? I have a career in Hollywood. I volunteer.
And the nation is very grateful to you, I'm sure, Captain.
I had a comfortable life, eh? I was in an intimate relationship with Olivia de Havilland, for Christ's sake. But I gave it all up to come out here and serve my country.
Your commitment is in no doubt, Captain Houston, but you can't expect me to divert valuable resources to movie making while the battle is still in progress.
Sir, I don't think you understand what we're here to do. We're not shooting things for Mitch. These films are weapons of war. People need a reason to fight, and our films give it to them. If we don't win the battle for the hearts and minds of our own people, then the isolationists will win. The appeasers, the Nazis on our own side, want us to give up and go home.
It's a strong argument, Captain, but it doesn't add a single cheek to my motive.
Successful film will reflect well on the brigade, sir, and on you personally.
I'm not concerned about personal glory.
Of course, and I applaud you, sir, but I'm not speaking of personal glory.
And what are you speaking of, Captain?
Confidentially, sir, we can't allow the British to have things all their own way. Not again. Well, you saw Desert Victory.
Yes.
They wrote us out of the damn script, sir. Anyone who saw that movie would not have known the U.S. Army had any significant involvement in the North Africa campaign. We can't let them do the same thing here.
What makes you think they will?
I have to know. David McDonald is on his way here with a British Army film crew.
Oh,
The guy who made that.
arriving here.
Yes,
The film.
British Army film. Yes, sir. Not long after that, Colonel Gillette discovered an IMO newsreel camera and 50 reels of 35mm film stock, which he generously passed on to us. While Jules found a Jeep somewhere with the keys left in the ignition.
Hey guys! Look what I got!
Where did you get that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe I can't remember. Anyway, I got it, don't I? Now we can go wreck.
And so you were sad.
They'd been informed by Corps that the enemy had withdrawn. Battle for San Pietro was over.
So, what's the plan?
Well, I guess we're going to see just how much better the Allied occupiers are than the Germans.
Right, but what if that's not the time when we get there?
I think that's what we're going to find.
Yes, but what if it isn't?
I'm pretty sure that it will be, Eric.
Yes, but you're already editing in your head. You've decided in advance what you're going to look for because you know what it is you'd like to find.
Listen, if I didn't think the people of Italy would be better off being occupied by us than the Nazis, I wouldn't be here, and neither would you.
But we agreed. No fabrication. No reenactment.
There won't be, trust me, there won't be any.
You're wearing those sunglasses again.
I'm anticipating sunshine.
Do you remember when we reached the first of the olive groves? We found a couple of soldiers sitting under the trees waiting to go into action.
Of course, I remember. How could I forget? Hey! Who you got?
143rd Texas Infantry, sir!
They saw our camp and all wanted to have their pictures taken for the newsreels.
Okay, fellas, everyone say sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse.
Why use those close-ups in the movie? Jules shot him with the eyeball. Remember the sound just happened to come out when we started rolling, and men were smiling and happy. Young men.
The only part of the film that moved. So, of course, by that night, we were killed.
First cut of the movie, I was shots of each man being buried, wrapped in the shroud. The footage from a couple of days later. There, see the power of editing. Live in one shot, full of hopes and plans, full of everything they wanted to do when they got home. Next shot, dead. The absurdity of it. It was too much for the army. They instructed me to cut the sequence. We separated out the close-ups, but even then they wanted the burials cut out completely. Okay, you guys take care. We're heading down the road.
Hey, watch out for those stump mines.
The hell's a stump mine?
It's mine that'll blow your foot off when you tread on it.
Guess that's why they call it a stump mine.
Good luck, sir.
You too.
We went as far as the road would take us. We were forced to stop at a culvert that had been hit by an 88 and abandoned the jeep. From there, we proceeded on foot.
Wait, look. Is that a GI over there?
Where?
By that tree. Hey there! Excuse me. Buddy!
Kneeling by the tree, aiming his rifle. For an instant, he looked alive. Only for an instant. A mortar bomb fragment had sheared away the whole of one side of his head. The moment of his death, he had been leaning against the tree to steady his aim. There he had stayed. I don't think he can hear you, John.
Okay. Let's move up.
Are you sure that's wise?
We're almost there. Come on.
One of the most peculiar memories of my childhood is that of opening a trunk in my parents' bedroom and finding inside dozens of very small human hands and feet. They were beautifully shaped and had been delicately carved in beech and boxwood by my grandfather in his Clerkenwell workshop. They were the hands and feet for the new marionette show that my father was planning. I remembered them as we crept through the olive groves that day. The ground ahead of us littered with the bodies and body parts